You can make stepping stones from your obstacles. This is Ken Harvey. Many students face great challenges in pursuing the American dream. Lack of English proficiency, poverty, no place quiet to study in their small, crowded homes, if they have a home, discrimination, hard, back-breaking work, frequent migration in pursuit of work, and missed educational opportunities. For those students with courage, commitment, consistent effort, and clear vision can succeed against all obstacles. 18 years ago, Daniel Garza was a Toppenish High School dropout, working in the fields with his family. But 3 years ago, he was asked to work in the White House and become President Bush's interface with America's 44 million Hispanics. After dropping out in the 10th grade, Daniel secured his GED diploma and started college. His family's financial problems, however, caused him to drop out and return to the fields. At age 20, Garza volunteered as a reserve police officer. His hard work and good attitude led the police chief to hire him as a radio dispatcher. "It was my ticket out of the fields," he recalls. Within a year, he tested for a police officer position and was hired. Daniel also became an avid reader of nonfiction, absorbing ideas and information that prompted him to become politically active. That led Garza to successfully run for Toppenish City Council in 1995 and begin working as a congressional staff assistant to Representative Doc Hastings in the Congressman's Yakima office. Later, he worked for U.S. Senator Slade Gorton before accepting a position with then presidential candidate George W. Bush to assist with his campaign in the state of Washington. In 2001, following Bush's election, Garza was appointed as Hispanic Media Coordinator at the Department of Interior, but was soon promoted to Deputy Director. It was a few months later that he caught the subway near the Pentagon to travel to his office, where the television was already reporting the September 11th terrorist attack on the Twin Towers in New York City, and on the Pentagon his train had just passed. Then out of the blue in 2003, Garza was asked to become the president's liaison to the Hispanic community. "I can't even say it was a dream come true," he says, "because I had never dreamed it. It was beyond the realm of possibility." Daniel has since left the White House and launched a Christian coalition-type organization for Hispanics, trying to unite both the Catholic and evangelical churches behind his effort to help young Hispanics return to the traditional religious values many have abandoned. Garza encourages students not to let any obstacle keep them from achieving their goals, and few students face more obstacles than Garza did. But life as a migrant student was one of privilege, according to Garza, the privilege of belonging to a family that overcame barriers and challenges together, and the privilege of living in Mexico for 6 months and then living in the United States for 6 months each year. For most students, the migrant lifestyle is anything but a privilege, but Garza says those experiences and his parents' religious values helped him set high goals, develop a strong work ethic, and eventually guided his political orientation. And ultimately, character is more important than circumstance, says Garza. Character will define your future and mark your place in this world, he says. Garza urges students to work hard, set high goals, develop their character, and turn their obstacles into stepping stones to success. Life deals your cards, he tells students, and you can either whine about what you didn't get, or you can begin to make use of the individual talent and skill you do have to serve others. And serving others, he says, will lead to success. Luis's family was living in a barn when, as a toddler, he was severely burned by an overturned pot of boiling water. He was dying, his family says, but the local white hospital released him the same day. For 6 months he suffered. He could not sleep on his painfully burned back, so his mother had him sleep on her stomach, heart to heart. Luis credits his mother for not only saving his young life, but for charging up his heart for a lifetime of artistic service. One day, years later, his third-grade teacher, Miss Newfield, brought in a beautiful wooden toy truck, painted bright yellow, with black wood wheels. She placed it on her desk and announced that at the end of the month she would give it to the best-behaved boy in class. Luis knew Jimmy, the son of the local rancher, was the teacher's pet, but he threw himself into winning that beautiful little truck. One day Jimmy was caught misbehaving, so Luis was sure he could win the truck now. But when the day came to award the truck, it was Jimmy who received it. Luis went home broken-hearted, but then went to his uncle's shop and got permission to use his uncle's woodworking tools. That day he built his own truck. It was pink because there weren't many colors of paint to choose from in the shop. Luis found some mayonnaise jar lids, painted them black, and made it so the wheels actually turned round and around, unlike Jimmy's truck. Luis's uncle and parents were very impressed and told all their friends and relatives. That encouraged Luis more, and he started making all kinds of toys, including cars and airplanes. Luis says he learned an important lesson that day. When confronted by obstacles such as prejudice, build your own damn truck. Luis Valdez overcame many obstacles, went to college, and became the creator of the award-winning Teatro Campesino, the farm workers' theater. Also writer and director of the Obie Award-winning and Golden Globe-nominated play Zoot Suit. He was the first Chicano playwright of a Broadway show. He wrote and directed the movie La Bamba, nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Musical Picture. And he was also the director of a TV series called The Cisco Kid. Such success garnered Luis many honors, including the Presidential Medal of the Arts. But he, as many children, had every opportunity to give up on his dreams. But he did whatever was necessary to build his dream, like he had built that truck. Paul Rodriguez was a migrant kid traveling with his family in Washington long before he became a comedy, TV, and movie star. Rodriguez was first inspired to go into showbiz by El Teatro Campesino, formed by Luis Valdez in cooperation with Cesar Chavez. Rodriguez says he was still a young boy hanging on to his mother's hand when his dad took them to see a performance. "This is important. You've got to watch this," his dad told him. He now credits the Teatro Campesino with first allowing him to even dream of being in the entertainment business. Rodriguez's career has now spanned 3 decades and includes starring roles and featured appearances in over 30 films and countless television series and specials. He first got out of the fields by becoming a communications officer in the U.S. Air Force, stationed in Texas, Minnesota, and Iceland. He considered becoming a lawyer, but found his way into comedy instead. He recently performed in the Tri-Cities en route to his 4th USO performance in Iraq. Paul's first big break came while doing comedy warm-ups before the live filming of Norman Lear's show Gloria, a spin-off from the Archie Bunker All in the Family series. Lear liked what he saw and developed a weekly series for Paul called A.K.A. Pablo, shown on ABC. The show enshrined Rodriguez in the Smithsonian Museum as the first TV show about a Mexican-American family on mainstream American television. He starred in 2 other series, Trial and Error and Grand Slam for CBS. For 4 years, he hosted El Show de Paul Rodriguez, an entertainment talk show on the Univision network. Paul moved easily from television to motion pictures, appearing in such movies as Quicksilver, Born in East L.A., Made in America, Ali with Will Smith, The Price of Glory with Jimmy Schmitz, Crocodile Dundee in L.A. with Paul Hogan, A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff, Cloud 9 with Burt Reynolds, The World's Fastest Indian with Sir Anthony Hopkins, and Bloodwork with Clint Eastwood. He also wrote, directed, and starred in A Million to One. Rodriguez says it was his most emotional experience of all, however, to hand his father the deed to his own 40-acre farm, which Paul was able to purchase for him after achieving success in show business.